Hey guys, it's me Jerry, and wow, I just posted my introduction video just a few days ago, and you guys are giving me so much support in such a short amount of time, and wow, I can't thank you guys enough. It's unbelievable for me, and this motivates me that much further. Wow, I'm speechless. So, hopefully I deliver, and I'm gonna start doing it now. Alright, now. Yep, we are doing a video on timing. Wow, what a vast subject for me to explore on my very first video. But the thing is, I'm not going to talk about everything I know about timing. That's gonna take 5 days of raw audio files. And that'll be a pretty huge file. I don't want to upload that. And I don't want to talk for 5 days straight either. So, I'm gonna start this video series. It is going to be called Little Bits About Timing. And every episode in those little bits about timing, I will talk about little discoveries I had, little tricks that I used with timing to create interest in animation, create entertainment that'll hook you guys' attention and then grab your soul and eat it. I'm not gonna talk about the basics of timing, like more drawings equals slower action and less drawings equals faster action. I'm not gonna do that because there's too many resources out there already online. You guys can go look for that. For example, there's this and that, and you can get this book and that book. That was a classic. And I'm just going to jump right through and talk about what I want to talk about, which is just tiny little discoveries that I personally had. And that'll be more relatable to myself, and hopefully you guys can get it. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about how to break up timing, making it interesting without breaking pace. So throughout school, we've heard that we should break up the timing a little when we're animating things too statically. We should break up the timing, we should vary it, making it interesting. But sometimes we overdo it. Sometimes we speed things up too much. Sometimes we take pauses too long. And today I am going to examine why it happens and how it should be done properly from my own experience and my own discovery that was made very recently, actually. So, okay, I'm going to start this off by throwing out the idea of beats. So the beats I'm talking about is not acting beats, which I will probably talk about later in another video. The beats that I'm talking about in animation is the moments that define the animation's rhythm. And we're going to examine the timing relationships between each beats and the gaps between these beats and how we vary these beats so that the timing is natural yet it doesn't break structure. So if this seems really abstract right now, it's alright. I'll put some examples up later and I'll explain everything and hopefully those will make sense. So hang on guys, be patient. Stay with me here. So what I have found out is that the pauses or gaps of timing should never be longer than 3 beats. So it's just throwing that idea out there, throw it on the wall. Yeah, 3 beats. Remember that number. So it'll be useful later. And the gaps and the pauses should be around 1.5 beats to 2.5 beats. So it is based on the idea that our minds will lose and wander off and lose attention if a pause or nothing is happening after 3 beats. So what are these 3 beats, right? Well, here I'm going to illustrate those on these examples right here. Oh yeah, that was Tom and Jerry back when Hanna-Barbera was making it. And that was the golden age of Tom and Jerry. So within it, it contains so much fantastic timing, contains so much comedy. It's just a bucket full of entertainment. And so as you guys can tell, the timing was very natural. It was so funny, and it paused and at the exact right times. So let's break it down and see why they work. See why we didn't lose anything, we didn't disconnect anything, but still had a very good breakup and variation. So we're gonna take this section right here where he's bouncing on the double bass, and we're gonna identify the key moments, or the beats, as I referred to earlier. So the beats are what the bounces on the double bass, and then he paused, and after the pause he flicked his nose. So the bounces are the beats, and then we have another beat when he flicked his nose. So we're just gonna have this little section right here, and we're gonna break it down. So from just looking at it, without overthinking anything, okay, every single bounce is 10 frames, and then it took 24 frames for the pause, and then he hit his nose. Okay, so what can we gather from those information? Well, we're going to examine the relationship between all the timing itself, specifically the 10 frame bounce towards the 24 frame pause. What is the relationship between these two? Oh, remember that I said what I said about the beats, that a pause should never extend over 3 beats, and that the pauses usually range from 1.5 to 2.5 beats? Well, here it is. I'm going to explain it. I'm going to compare the last 24 frames of the pause to that first established beat of the 10 frames. Because we are already familiar with the 10 frame bounces, this pattern is already established. When we suddenly break out of the pattern, our brain will start filling in the spaces. Our brain, even though he's not bouncing, in our head we are still going like boom, 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 boom. And the thing is, if those rhythm in our heads go over 3 beats, we're going to lose attention, because we'll realize that nothing is happening, and we'll totally zone out and be like, this I can do better things than paying attention to this. And the trick is to break out of that pause right before we lose attention, right before we disengage. So in this case, 24 divided by 10, that is 2.4, which I'm going to round up to 2.5. And in this case, this scene right here took a 2.5 beat pause, which is just half a beat before we lose and disengage. So in this case, it is used very properly for comedic timing to make sure that we're left long enough to wonder what's going to happen, and then make things happen, get the payoff right when we're paying attention, and get the full comedic effect. And that's good timing, basically. So not all pauses take 2.5 beats, because things will go super slow if we do. So let's look at this earlier section right here, where the dog is looking around, checking where Tom is.